Gala. The Gala apple began its journey in New Zealand during the 1930s. Orchardist J.H. Kidd wanted to create an apple that combined sweetness, beauty, and reliability. By crossing Kidd's Orange Red with Golden Delicious, he produced what would later become one of the world's favorite apples. Its name, Gala, was chosen because the breeder believed it was elegant enough for a royal celebration. Today, Gala apples are among the most widely grown apples on Earth. They have thin skin with bright orange-red stripes over a golden background. Take one bite, and you'll notice a crisp texture, plenty of juice, and a naturally sweet flavor with very little tartness. That's why Gala apples are especially popular with children and people who enjoy eating apples fresh without any sourness. Interestingly, most Gala apples sold today aren't actually the original Gala. They're newer natural mutations like Royal Gala that develop darker red skin while keeping the same delicious taste. Fuji. The Fuji apple was developed in Japan by researchers searching for the perfect dessert apple. After decades of careful breeding, they crossed Red Delicious with Rawls Janet and officially released Fuji in 1962. The apple takes its name from the town of Fujisaki. Fuji apples are famous for one thing above all else: sweetness. They naturally contain more sugar than many other commercial apples. Some Fuji apples even develop something called watercore, where sugar collects inside parts of the fruit, making those sections look almost transparent while tasting incredibly sweet, almost like honey. Another impressive feature is storage. Properly refrigerated Fuji apples can remain crisp and juicy for several months without losing much quality. Granny Smith. Unlike many apples created through careful breeding, Granny Smith happened completely by accident. During the 1860s in Australia, Maria and Smith discovered a young apple tree growing near a compost pile on her property. Nobody knows exactly which apples produced the seed. Instead of removing it, she allowed the tree to grow. The fruit turned out to be unusually bright green, incredibly crisp, and remarkably sour. Its sharp acidity makes it perfect for baking because it keeps its shape inside pies and tarts instead of turning into mush. Even after more than 150 years, Granny Smith remains one of the most recognizable apples in supermarkets around the world. Honeycrisp. Honeycrisp almost never existed. Researchers at the University of Minnesota created it in the 1960s while breeding apples that could survive extremely cold winters. For years, scientists believed the breeding experiment had failed. The original records disappeared, and the tree was nearly removed from the testing orchard. Luckily, someone left it growing. Years later, they discovered something extraordinary. Honeycrisp apples have unusually large cells inside the fruit. Instead of compressing when bitten, those cells burst open, creating the loud crunch and explosion of juice people love. For years, Honeycrisp became one of America's most expensive apples, often selling for several times the price of ordinary varieties. Even today, it remains a premium favorite. Red Delicious. Few apples are more recognizable than the Red Delicious. It first appeared during the late 1800s on an Iowa farm owned by Jesse Hyatt. As supermarkets expanded, growers selected trees with darker red color, thicker skin, and longer shelf life. Unfortunately, this focus on appearance slowly reduced the rich flavor that made the original apple famous. Modern Red Delicious apples are often criticized for being dry or mealy. However, when grown carefully and harvested at the right time, they can still offer delicate floral flavors with surprising sweetness. Golden Delicious. Despite its name, Golden Delicious is not related to Red Delicious. It was discovered in West Virginia around 1912 as a chance seedling. Unlike many apples, Golden Delicious balances sweetness with gentle acidity, making it extremely versatile. It works equally well eaten fresh, baked into pies, pressed into juice, or sliced into salads. Because of its excellent genetics, breeders have used Golden Delicious to create dozens of newer apple varieties around the world, including Gala and many others. Its influence on modern apple breeding is enormous. Pink Pearl. From the outside, Pink Pearl looks fairly ordinary. Slice it open, however, and you'll reveal bright pink flesh. This unusual apple was developed in California during the 1940s by breeder Albert Eder. The vibrant color comes from natural pigments called anthocyanins, the same healthy compounds found in blueberries and cherries. The flavor is bright, tart, and refreshing. Many people notice hints of raspberry or grapefruit, making pink pearl especially popular for desserts and colorful fruit displays. Black Oxford. Black Oxford first appeared in Maine around the late 1700s. Its skin becomes so dark that it almost looks black under certain lighting. For families living through harsh New England winters, this apple became extremely valuable because it could remain edible for over 6 months when stored properly. Its thick skin protects dense, creamy flesh with subtle notes of wine and sweetness. Long before refrigerators existed, Black Oxford helped families enjoy fresh fruit throughout the winter. Empire. Empire is a much newer apple created in New York during the 1940s by crossing McIntosh and Red Delicious. Researchers wanted an apple that combined McIntosh's juicy flavor with the firmness of Red Delicious. The result was Empire. Its name honors New York's nickname, the Empire State. Empire apples are crisp, juicy, mildly sweet, and slightly tart, making them excellent for both eating fresh and baking. Arkansas Black. The Arkansas Black is one of America's most unusual heirloom apples. It was first discovered in the late 1800s in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas, a region that was once one of the country's largest apple-producing areas. At first glance, the fruit almost doesn't look real. Its skin is an incredibly deep shade of red that darkens to nearly black as it ripens. Combined with its glossy, wax-like surface, the apple looks more like polished wood than fresh fruit. Freshly picked Arkansas Black apples are surprisingly hard. Their flesh is extremely dense, crisp, and sharply tart, making them less enjoyable straight off the tree. But this apple has a secret. If stored in a cool place for several months, something remarkable happens. The flesh softens slightly, the acidity mellows, and the flavor develops rich notes of cherry, spice, vanilla, and even red wine. Few apples improve with age the way Arkansas Black does. Because of this unique aging process, it's highly prized by cider makers and bakers, who appreciate the depth of flavor it develops over time. Gravenstein. The Gravenstein is one of Europe's oldest surviving apple varieties, with a history stretching back more than 300 years. Although its exact birthplace remains uncertain, many historians believe it originated in what is now Denmark before spreading across Germany and Scandinavia. By the early 1800s, Russian settlers had introduced Gravenstein trees to California, where they quickly became famous for producing exceptional apples. Unlike many modern apples bred mainly for appearance, Gravenstein is valued for its incredible flavor. Its skin is greenish-yellow with bright red stripes, giving it a rustic appearance. The flesh is juicy, aromatic, and perfectly balanced between sweet and tart. Because it cooks down into a smooth, flavorful puree, Gravenstein has long been considered one of the finest apples for applesauce. It's also highly prized for fresh juice, with several famous juice companies building their reputations using Gravenstein apples. Esopus Spitzenberg. If one apple could be called presidential, it would probably be the Esopus Spitzenberg. This historic American variety first appeared in New York during the early 1700s and quickly earned a reputation as one of the finest dessert apples ever grown. It was famously the favorite apple of Thomas Jefferson, who planted it in the orchards at Monticello and praised its remarkable flavor. Take one bite, and it's easy to understand why. The flesh is firm, dense, and packed with juice. Its sweetness is balanced by lively acidity, while the flavor carries subtle hints of cinnamon, cloves, berries, and even tropical fruit. Unfortunately, growing Esopus Spitzenberg isn't easy. The trees are vulnerable to disease and require ideal conditions, making them far less common than modern commercial apples. Today, they're mostly found in heritage orchards and farmers' markets. Calville Blanc de Hiver. For centuries, many French chefs have considered Calville Blanc de Hiver the king of cooking apples. This unusual variety dates back to the 1600s and has remained famous for one reason: its extraordinary flavor after baking. Unlike perfectly round supermarket apples, Calville Blanc de Hiver is deeply ribbed and uneven, giving it a distinctive, almost pumpkin-like appearance. Its pale green skin eventually turns creamy yellow as it ripens. The flesh contains an impressive balance of natural sugars and high acidity, producing rich, complex flavors with hints of honey, citrus, and spice. Historically, It was also valued for its exceptionally high vitamin C content, making it useful during times when fresh fruits were scarce. Even today, many traditional French apple tarts are considered incomplete without this remarkable variety. Reine de Reinettes, known in English as the Queen of the Pippins. Reine de Reinettes has delighted European fruit lovers for hundreds of years. It likely originated in France or the Netherlands during the 1700s before spreading across Europe. The apple is medium-sized with golden skin covered in bright orange-red streaks. Its flavor is what truly sets it apart. Unlike apples that are simply sweet or sour, Reine de Reinettes delivers layer after layer of flavor. Many people notice hints of honey, citrus, nuts, vanilla, and even tropical fruit. Because of its balanced sweetness and acidity, it's equally delicious eaten fresh or baked into pastries. To this day, many apple enthusiasts rank it among the finest dessert apples ever grown. Knobbed Russet. Beauty isn't everything. The knobbed russet is often called the ugliest apple in the world. Its rough brown skin is covered with bumps, wrinkles, and corky patches that make it look almost deformed. Most supermarkets refuse to sell apples that look like this. Yet inside lies one of the richest flavored apples you'll ever taste. The flesh is dense, crisp, and packed with sweet, nutty flavors that many compare to pear, hazelnut, and brown sugar. This ancient variety has survived for centuries, thanks to heritage orchards and fruit conservation organizations dedicated to preserving rare apples that might otherwise disappear forever. Candil Sinap. The Candil Sinap is one of Turkey's most historic apples. Its name comes from its unusual shape, which resembles a candle hanging from a tree. For hundreds of years, this elegant apple was cultivated throughout the Ottoman Empire and was even served in royal gardens. Historical records from the 17th and 18th centuries describe it as one of the empire's finest dessert apples. Its long, slender shape makes it unlike almost any apple found in supermarkets today. The flesh is delicate, juicy, and aromatic, rather than delivering sharp acidity. Candil Sinap offers a gentle sweetness with floral notes and a smooth finish. Cosmic Crisp. Our final apple is also one of the newest. Cosmic Crisp was developed by researchers at Washington State University after more than 20 years of careful breeding. Released commercially in 2019, it was created by crossing Honeycrisp with Enterprise, combining the best qualities of both parents. The result is an apple with outstanding sweetness, balanced acidity, exceptional crispness, and an incredibly juicy texture. Its name comes from the tiny white dots scattered across its dark red skin, which resemble stars shining in a night sky. Cosmic Crisp also has another impressive advantage. After being cut, it browns much more slowly than many other apples, making it perfect for lunchboxes, fruit salads, and snacks. Many experts believe it represents the future of modern apple breeding because it combines excellent flavor with outstanding storage life. From apples discovered by pure accident to varieties once served in royal palaces, every apple has its own remarkable story. Some have survived for hundreds of years, while others are the result of decades of modern scientific research. The next time you visit a grocery store or farmer's market, take a closer look at the apples on display. You might recognize more than just their names. You'll know the fascinating history hidden inside each one. Which of these apple varieties would you most like to try? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more fascinating stories about fruits, farming, and nature from around the world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.